This might be a long post. We had been largely no contact, except when I would get angry and text things that were on my mind to her. I regret this. I said mean things. Granted, I'm the betrayed spouse. I know. Still, I was ice cold. Move ahead to last week. My favorite dog that I have ever had came down with a sudden autoimmune disease and was in very bad shape. My ex loved our dogs very much. She was a great dog mom and I knew how much she loved them. So when I took my sick dog to the vet, I invited her to see him one more time just in case he died. He was only 6 years old and it was very sad. She shows up and the dog is our focus instead of our past relationship. We end up keeping him on 24-hour care for 3 days, and he gets 3 blood transfusions. They didn't work, so I decided to have him put down. I invited my ex to see the dog off. It was very sad. We cried. Most importantly, we talked. All of my anger for her had gone away. I have a girlfriend now, who I love. I have a life on my own. Also, I'm very protective of my feelings with the ex, so I kept things kind of cold and mechanical with her. I learned that she feels that her affair was the biggest mistake of her life. She hates herself. She had been contemplating suicide for months, and the only thing that kept her going was that she might see the dogs one day. What she didn't know was that I wasn't going to let that happen until my dog started dying. I also didn't know that every time I sent a mean as fuck message to my ex, she had already been suicidal. She has panic attacks in grocery stores because she's afraid she'll see one of my friends. I pity her. I've made it clear that I cannot and will not be her friend, but I did offer to drop off our old dog, her favorite, so that she could walk her. I'm doing this for me, really, because I think it's the right thing to do. Before a lot of you tell me that this is fake remorse and she's a narcissist and this is just a statistic, know that I've thought the same thing. The truth is, she really did fuck up bad and now she's paying the consequences. To be honest, I wouldn't trade places with her for anything. I know that there are some narcissists that compartmentalize their affairs and are probably mentally ill. But I looked in the face of the consequences of adultery and let me tell you folks, it looks like hell. She will have to live with shame and guilt for a long time. I made it clear to her that in no way am I her friend. She even tried to crack a joke and I just said we aren't doing that. I explained that I cannot bring emotions into sharing the dog with her and it was to protect me. I know that I have come a long way compared to a lot of other betrayed spouses, and my heart goes out to you guys. But letting go of all the anger has freed my soul in ways that nothing else would. I've replaced it with pity and it's helping me a great lot. I used to go into fits of anger over all of this, then cry. Now, it's just pity. I may have been betrayed, but I get to go to sleep at night knowing that I was loyal and loving. I know that I sort of rambled here, but it helps to type this stuff out. Be well, folks. So, my wife left me for another man and left me with a pile of debt and 2 kids. What can I do? A little backstory. We have been married for 9 years and have 2 wonderful kids together. Over the last 2 years, life became more difficult between us after throwing 2 kids into the mix. I long suspected that she was cheating on me after our son was born 2 years ago. But one day we were on the way back from a trip to her parents' place when she told me that she was leaving me and that she wanted a divorce. Being shocked at this sudden revelation, I tried everything to get back together with her for my sanity and the kids' sake, but to not avail. She moved in right away with another guy, so I know it must have been brewing for a while. But she left me to deal with a mortgage, tons of credit card debt accrued during her many stints without employment, and shopaholic rage spending. 2 kids and all their needs thrown in and now lawyer fees. I just got a notice that they are going to garnish my wages for a hospital bill that she got and never paid since I am the only person with a job right now. It also turns out that she was fired recently for lewd activity with one of her boyfriends while she was on the job. Is there anything I can do? My life is turned upside down and as I am trying to get back on my feet for my kids, I get blindsided by her craziness and lack of responsibility. Have any of you gone through this sort of mess? Any tips you can give me would be greatly appreciated. I know how amazing the Reddit community is with giving advice to those in need. So, please, how can I get my life back in order? Divorced a cheating wife. Now, how to respond to a friend who thinks I'm making a move for his girlfriend. After discovering my ex's 3-year affair with a guy I knew, I struggled to make it work, but ultimately divorced her. I was never very close to the guy, but our sons were. Our friends. I can still vividly remember the flashes of anger as my ex would tell me about the latest flirtation or comment he'd made to her. And when I confronted him and told him that his overtures were completely inappropriate, and threatened to out him to his wife if he so much as looked at my ex. He responded that he certainly understood and would keep his distance, and that he was happily married and wasn't interested in my ex. Fast forward to when I learned that they'd already slept together and had continued their affair for years afterward. We can have a discussion another time about why I didn't take action sooner, how I could miss the ongoing affair for so long, etc. Today I have a different question. A good friend of mine, let's call him E, recently called to tell me that he couldn't invite me to a party where two of his wife's friends, let's call her F, and him M, were going to be because of their feelings towards me. I met F and M at the same time around 2 years ago, and they have been dating almost as long as I've known them. Now apparently the hard feelings go back to 1.5 years ago, at which point my ex and I had separated with a final intent to divorce. At that point I'd met F and M on several social occasions and I liked them both. I thought of them as friends that I got along with and wanted to do stuff with more often. At several of the social functions, I had a friend with me with whom everyone generally understood there was a likely romantic interest brewing, let's call her GF for simplicity's sake. During our call, E explained that at a pool party 1.5 years ago where M, F, and GF were all in attendance, I got out of the pool so shirtless as one does when swimming in a pool, and gave F a hug before leaving the party with GF. M was apparently close by and overheard F ask me how life was going. According to Evie, a conversation with M and Phi responded, "It would be better with you in it." They told E that GF was close by but apparently didn't hear the remark. Now, I vaguely remember the party, and I'm definitely the type of person who would have given F a hug with or without a shirt on while at a pool party. I don't recall the hug or the comment on any level. But given that GF and I both liked M and F and had talked about doing more things with them, I could totally see myself responding to F's question with something like, "It would be better with you in it. We should all get together more often." I would have said something like that, especially if M was near enough that I believed I was having a conversation with both of them. I'm unaware of whether I looked at M when I made the alleged comment, if I actually knew he was there, where GF was, or if she heard the convo. She doesn't remember hearing me say anything inappropriate, or if I also gave M a shirtless hug. But that's all beside the point, because apparently M understood my shirtless hug and comment as an indication that I was making a play for his girl. Since then, apparently whenever I've been together at the same event with E, GF, now really my GF, M, and F, M perceives that I do something that furthers his perception of me as being attracted to F. In one instance he thought I was staring at her, and most recently he thought that F and I were holding hands for an extended period of time directly in front of him a couple feet away. We, of course, were not. Now, I really and truly don't have any romantic feelings or attraction to F, and what's more, I'm super sensitive to infidelity of any kind, whether the couple is married or not, and can't see myself even being attracted to a woman who I thought could be persuaded to cheat or to leave her relationship for another guy. But that aside, I don't know what my ex's paramour could possibly have said to me that would have made me comfortable with his presence anywhere close to my ex. And I can't really blame him for continuing to be hyper on guard once he perceived a threat to his relationship, something I apparently failed to do in my prior marriage. This could all have been easily avoided if M had confronted me immediately, or at any point over the past 1.5 years, or if I'd been more perceptive to the growing discomfort and resentment that I clearly missed. But hindsight is 20/20 and things are where they are now. So the question is this: is there anything I can do to salvage these relationships? First, I don't want to lose E's friendship because I can't be around at the same time as M and F. Second, there are likely other friendships that have been caught up in and affected by this thing that I wasn't even aware of until yesterday. And third, I really do think M and F are pretty cool, down-to-earth people with a lot in common, who could generally get along outside of this fiasco. Edit update. Thanks to everyone here for being willing to read through my long post, and to give me your perspective on a question that isn't even directly related to surviving my ex's infidelity. I've got an update for anyone who's interested. First, let me provide a legend for the initials and people discussed. E, one of my best friends. He called to tell me about the issue this post is all about. M, jealous guy. F, girlfriend of M, the girl I hugged at the pool party 1.5 years ago. GF, my current girlfriend. She was a potential romantic interest at the time of the pool party. Okay, so I called E yesterday afternoon to discuss options. I told him that I was inclined to do what I could to resolve the issue with M because of the effect it had on our friendship, which I greatly valued. I reconfirmed to him that I didn't have any romantic interest in F, and I asked his opinion about my approaching M to let him know that I'd recently been made aware that I'd inadvertently given him the mistaken impression that I had an interest in F and was a threat. I'd also tell M that I regretted that I'd been obtuse to his impressions and reactions, and that I wanted to work things out if possible. E responded that M and F didn't show up to the party they'd been invited to earlier that weekend, and were apparently fighting about something unrelated to me. He thought it was likely that they'd break up, so the decision was to leave it alone for the time being. If M and F are still together in a month or two, I'll contact them and have the conversation I proposed above. If it helps, great. If not, oh well. NMP. I also love old E that this could have been resolved 1.5 years ago if anyone would have just made a simple comment. In the future, should anything like this occur, E knows he can simply tell me to slow my roll. So ultimately I think this issue may completely resolve itself. SMH. Thank you all again. Your kind and wise advice are the reason I love Reddit and this sub.